build on what Vicki was saying. It's so awesome. This is actually my first, actually it's my third time, but our event is usually over there that we co-brand on with PADI and Ocean Institute and Stand Up to Trash. This is my first time speaking with her and being at one of her events. And it's just incredible to see the community come out to, is this okay? Is it? I feel like there's a feedback. To see all the people come out and so many young people here to take care of the environment and to get involved at the local level, because that's really what I'm going to talk about today. Our main priority at PADI and our foundation, the PADI Aware Foundation, is what we do is to mobilize people for local action for global impact, because it's truly all of us working together, like the awesome impact over here that we made today will lead to large scale change. So a little bit about, yes. Okay, thank you. She's gonna do that sometimes. She's kind of like my comic relief. That's my daughter, Shyla. So thanks for coming out today and to hear a little bit more about what we're doing here and what I do for PADI. So I've been at PADI for over about 11 years, and Vicki already asked, raise your hands if you're a diver in the audience. Keep your hands, okay, everyone keep your hands raised. How many people want to be a diver? How many people are scared to be a diver? Just curious. Okay. So what we do, who knows what PADI stands for? Anybody? Right there in the front row. What is it?
Professional Association of Dive Instructors.
Perfect! Professional Association of Diving Instructors. So what we do, we're the largest scuba diving training agency in the world, which is pretty awesome. We have 6,600 dive centers. We don't own them, so basically they're small businesses around the world that want to teach diving. And they teach the PADI system of education, which is basically a standardized and very safe way to learn how to scuba dive. And we have 130,000 people, instructors around the world teaching diving. And what's really important about that, besides it being all standardized, is that we teach to protect the underwater world as part of your diving curriculum. So that's one of the reasons why that attracted me to go work at PADI. And my role there is, Vicki introduced my role as head of environment and sustainability, is to really advance our PADI mission. And in 2016, PADI created a new mission, or 2018, it was our 50th anniversary. We've been around for quite some time. And for 50 years, our whole core business and our tagline was to teach the way the world learns to dive. Well, in 2018, we thought about the next 50 years and what is the legacy that we wanted to leave behind. And that really was one of conservation. It was of protecting the underwater world and protecting the ocean. So we changed our tagline, or our vision, we created our mission to be create 1 billion, with a B, to ocean torchbearers to explore and protect the ocean. So what that means is that we basically want how many people on this planet? Anybody know? About approximately 8 billion. So our goal is to get 1 out of every 8 people to become a steward for the ocean. So even though our mission, people think of us as diving, we know that we don't have 1 billion divers. It would be great if we did, but we know that's not likely. But what we can collect or organize is build a community of people that love the ocean. Who here loves the ocean? Raise your hand. Okay, we had like 5 or 10 divers, but everybody here loves the ocean. So you start to see how we can mobilize people around the world that love the ocean to want to take action for the ocean, just like you're doing here today. So we talk a lot about what citizen science is. If you guys want to hold up a sign. Okay. Oh, no, just this sign. One at a time. So it is critical that we have people around the world taking action, small scales at a time. And citizen science is, especially for where I work, is above and below the ocean. So what we're trying to do is create actions for people, a pathway to ocean protection. So that could be, and basically all that comes down to is data. So we're gonna dive into that in just a moment. Okay, thank you, Junebug. You did a great job. I might have you hold this sign up again later. Okay, so we talked about our mission. Our mission is to create ocean torchbearers. Who wants to hold up my ocean torchbearer sign? Okay. So So I talked about ocean torchbearers being anyone that that loves the ocean, that wants to explore the ocean, that wants to protect the ocean. So that's our mission at PADI, is to do that. So my job is to help advance our mission, integrate it in everything we do, and oversee what we have called is the pillars of change, which I list. One of my favorite things about my role at PADI is that we have 3 pillars, and one of them is focused on ocean conservation. One of them is focused on dive industry sustainability, which is us making sure that we're organizing our entire family. I like the word that Vicki used, our family of divers, dive centers, and divers, to do things more sustainably. So we have a program called PADI Eco Center, and it's actually the most, we work with our dive centers to make sure that they're acting responsibly when they're taking people underwater, that they have safe business practices, and at the end of the day, that they're protecting the coral reefs and the marine ecosystems that they're operating in. So if you want to learn more about, if you want to be an ocean torchbearer and you want to learn more about what we're doing, here, I'm going to hold this up a little higher. You can sign up and get our newsletter at padi.com/save the ocean. Super easy one. So there you can take the pledge that you want to save the ocean, and then we'll send you newsletters and updates on all the things we're doing to protect it. So the third pillar of change is people and community, and that's focused on, we do a lot to get people with physical or mental challenges, people that are adaptive divers, people that are in wheelchairs, people that are autistic, that people that have some type of paralysis, veterans with PTSD. Diving is shown to have tremendous healing properties and can really transform these people's lives underwater. So that's another part of our business that I really love working on. So under our ocean conservation pillar of change, we have, can you go hold this sign up for me? We have the PADI Blueprint for Ocean Action. And what's really cool about our Blueprint for Ocean Action, we've created this, it covers 5 key threats to the ocean. So one of them is marine debris, which is one of the reasons why we're here today, to talk about diving against debris. We have coral reef health. We have marine protected areas. We have coral reef protection, and we have climate change. So we create programs to tackle these key threats to the ocean. And a program for us is education and citizen science. So when we combine those 2 things together, we're super powerful. And our goal is to mobilize divers around the world to learn about the topic, the key threat to the ocean, and then take action against it. So, real quick, so before we get to the next step here, talking about our Diving Against Debris program, we have a foundation called the PADI Aware Foundation. Okay, thank you, Shyla. You can go sit down. I'll give you a sign in a second, okay? 30 years ago, PADI created a foundation called the Project Aware Foundation. I don't know if any of you have heard of that. But we've evolved over time, and when we recast our mission and we rebranded, we actually brought the foundation under our umbrella. There's still a 501(c) nonprofit, but this fact that we have a nonprofit working together with us as an organization makes us very powerful. And the reason why we're so powerful, when I say powerful, I mean the reason why we're able to create impact and change is that the PADI Aware Foundation, as a foundation, sits at the policy table. So they represent divers and the dive industry at the highest level of government, which is policy change. So right now, for example, a couple of years ago, or over the past 5 or so years, the United Nations has been working on a global plastics treaty. So this is all very relevant. Who's here? Who's heard about the global plastics treaty? Anybody here? Okay, Vicki, I'm glad you know about the plastics treaty. The plastics treaty is a really incredible opportunity to turn the tide on plastics. What it is going to do is actually going to change the way the plastics are made and produced and discarded. And one of the coolest things about it is that it's going to ask governments to actually report about their debris, about their waste management policies. And part of that is they will probably have to fund. They'll have to. A part of the requirement for the plastic will be monitoring the marine ecosystems, if they have one, their coastlines, reporting about the amount of debris that they find. So the cool thing about this whole thing is that PADI has a program called Dive Against Debris. It's a citizen science program. And what we do is we train divers all around the world, basically do you want to hold up our sign? Jack's going to hold up our Dive Against Debris sign. We train divers all around the world to do what you guys did today, but do that underwater while scuba diving or free diving. So what that means is you learn how to lift heavy objects, you learn how to disentangle objects from, like Vicky's wearing her netting over her shark costume today. A lot of the times you see entangled animals. PADI Aware divers have removed safely freed 35,000 animals from nets. Like we don't usually maybe do sharks, but lots of other marine animals. And divers have they've safely removed or reported all this trash into what we now have is the world's largest database for marine debris. So why this is so important is that every single piece of debris that's uploaded into that database is quality reviewed by a PADI Aware staffer. So we've contributed to research on seafloor debris, and Dive Against Debris is the only program that safely removes plastics and debris from the seafloor. Another way they do that is by trawling the ocean floor, which is not good at all for obvious reasons. So what we're trying to do with this Global Plastics Treaty is, one way we're doing citizen science is we're collecting signatures. So this is something, and I put the website on here, and Vicki also put on her website, is that you can sign the petition, and our PADI Aware staffer is at the policy table saying, all these people want this to stop. They want to create a change in plastics. We want to turn the tide on plastics. And we're collecting signatures to give, he's taking all of those by country to the policy table so that those key stakeholders, the leaders of those governments, see that people do care about this issue and they want to create real change. So that's the power. So just going back to why we're a unique, powerful relationship between PADI and our nonprofit is that we have someone sitting at that policy level standing up for the ocean. So we're giving a voice to the ocean, our divers, our ocean torchbearers like you, and the dive industry, and really starting to create change. And other ways we do that is also through, we've done a lot with shark policy. We've actually protected over 104 species of sharks and rays, and we do that through CITES. So again, a way that divers, that was also a petition effort. So another way that you can get involved if you care about sharks and certain marine animals is that you can sign this petition to help save certain creatures when we have these petitions. And again, PADI Aware goes to the policy table at these big ocean conferences, and they hand deliver the signatures, and it shows that people care about these issues. Does anyone know why sharks are so important and why we want to protect them? Back there in the orange? Well, to build on what you're saying, they are the apex predators of the ocean. So yeah, you're right. They do play a critical role in our ecosystems, in our marine ecosystems, because they keep the ocean in balance. So if we start losing the sharks, it starts impacting the rest of the food chain below it. So we lose, I think Vicki told me today, she read that how many sharks a second? 3 sharks die a second from shark finning? So what we really do at PADI, as far as shark and ray and citizen science is concerned, next year we're launching the world's first largest global shark and ray census. And it's going to allow people to do data collection on site surveys, both on the surface and underwater, on shark and ray populations. And one of the reasons why this is so important is that all of this data is, again, going into our citizen science database, and that we can then go to local and national governments that are trying to create regulations to protect sharks. And this goes into lots of laws and regulations around fishing, but the ultimate goal for all of this that we do is to create more marine protected areas. Who here has heard of the 30 by 30? Protect 30% of the ocean by 2030. So that's one of the reasons why we're really, when we have our blueprint for ocean action and trying to create laws that support this, where all of our goals that we have at PADI, all of our conservation goals, are linked to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So that we want to make sure that all the actions that we're taking are linking to the bigger picture to protect the ocean, and that we're not just creating our own conservation efforts that are in a silo, because we really want to make sure that we're moving the needle on ocean conservation. So if you are interested in becoming a diver or getting below the surface, so when you're not doing a beach cleanup but you want to get under the water, that's where we have our Dive Against Debris program. And we have millions. So PADI certifies, we issue 1 million certifications every year. And that's a tremendous scale. So when you start putting together the amount of dive centers, passionate instructors teaching people to explore and protect the ocean, and divers, we have a tremendous opportunity to really move the needle on ocean conservation. And so our Dive Against Debris program, like I said, is teaching divers to collect debris underwater, to safely disentangle animals and free them, to collect the data. So what we do is we provide, usually the dive center will purchase these bags. They're reusable. Vicky's been using hers now for quite some time. This is a brand new one. And they collect all of their debris while they're diving in these Dive Against Debris bags. And then what they do is similar to what you guys did here. They come out of the water and they organize and they sort all of it with gloves on. There's a group of people, so you can participate in Dive Against Debris, even if you're not diving, because we need lots of people on the surface to sort and organize all of the marine debris. Thank you for showing the bags. That's perfect. So what we then do is then there's slates, and it's all organized and categorized so that our data, and then it's uploaded to the database so that you can start seeing the trends and over time of the different debris that's collected. How could I add on that? Anything else to say? So that we have divers and dive centers around the world that are hosting events like Vicky's doing every month. They're cleaning up their local ecosystems. They're doing other citizen science efforts like coral restoration. They could be doing sea turtle management, anything else like that. But as a diver, you just have this amazing opportunity to get under the water because you're actually seeing firsthand the impact that the human condition or humans actually have on the underwater world. So that's what we're doing at PADI. It's one of our biggest priorities, besides teaching people to safely dive, is to protect our playgrounds that we explore and love every day. Just like there's some people that want to protect the outdoors, where they hike, where they run, where they ski. It's very important that we're also protecting the ocean, and that starts really underwater and collecting that data so that data can be used to change and influence policy at that level. Q&A. I think I got through everything. Who here has any questions? Vicky has a question. Let's start with her.
How do you become a torchbearer?
How do you become a torchbearer? Thank you. That is a great question. One of the best, first of all, I would say everyone here already is a torchbearer. Our definition of a torchbearer is anyone that's taking action for the ocean or creating ocean change. And every single person here has contributed and created ocean change today. So if you want to sign up and become officially a torchbearer, you just go to www.padi.com/Save the Ocean. And on that page, we've created a pledge. It's called the Save the Ocean Pledge. And really, that's more for you to just say, yes, I'm going to do these actions. You can read through them. And then you sign up for the newsletter. And that's where we send out every quarter. We send a newsletter with we do policy changes, PADI Aware, things that anything we've done to influence and change policy. And we talk about any of our new courses coming out. We talk about ways to get involved. If you are leaving here today and you think that you really want to get involved, another way too is to just go to a local dive center. We always push everyone to our local dive centers. You can start learning to dive here, and then you could go somewhere warmer and do your warm water diving. But there's Beach City Scuba, there's Lost Winds up the road, who we've done a cleanup here a couple times if you've joined us on that event. And those guys can get you started on the path to becoming a underwater citizen science. Anyone else have any question about diving or debris or anything else that we do at PADI? No? All right. Well, thanks again for coming. Oh, I do. There's a question over here. Yes, we've collected over 2 million, but I know that doesn't sound as much I think there's how many 8 dump trucks, like an hour of, I don't know, it's crazy. About
Dump truck a minute.
A minute, sorry, going into the ocean. But what's so important about the amount of trash and debris that PADI has collected is that all those pieces have been reported and sorted. So imagine we got all of this right now that you guys collected, and you had volunteers sorting through all of that. It goes into one individual survey. That survey sometimes has pictures, it has information, it has water conditions. We can actually track other important data about what goes into the system, or about that survey of that day. And then it's quality reviewed by a human being to make sure that it's all accurate and makes sense. Then it's in the larger database. You can actually view this. It's a very cool map. It's diveagainstdebris.org, O-R-G. It's under the PADI Aware Foundation, basically domain. They run this citizen science database, and it is the biggest one in the world. Nothing else exists of its kind in the world, and it's all debris collected by divers. And it's actually very cool. There's a map. It shows where all the surveys are. You can click into the surveys. There's pictures. You can kind of see also, there's on there the top most most common items, like our girl back there in the back on the cigarette outfit, costume. But you can start seeing what are the biggest pieces of trash offenders, like straws and all those things that you find under the water. We have been contacted by other organizations to help them track their debris. So it's really cool to see how the whole process is evolving. Did that answer your question? Okay. Anybody else? Did you? Oh, okay.